Hello, my name's Jason and welcome back to I Have a Story. With everything going on in politics, I really don't want to make my channel too political, but at the same time when I'm here to talk about a lot of health issues all the way around, physical and mental, I can't help but to bring politics into that because politics has caused an awful lot of it in our country today as much as ever. So I have to talk about politics, but I want to do it in a different way. I don't want to necessarily just educate people in the political things themselves, but how it affects and plays a part on people. That's more where I want to keep my focus. But here I want to talk about something a little bit different because I'm also going to be sharing my life story, which that's coming very soon. My counselor's been kind of pushing on me and said, Jason, it's time, you need to get it done. So that's coming here very soon. Maybe even next week I'll get that out. I'm still debating on how I do it. If I just do one day a week and make it dedicated to my life story, and have other days where I've talking about other things, or if I just knock it out. It's not something I'm struggling doing it all the way around. It's not something I want to do. It's really difficult, but I feel it's necessary. And if my pain helps other people to not feel pain, hopefully at the very least it does that. Something I want to share with politics and with my life story is actually talking about the assassination attempt on Trump. Now I'm going to share a life story with you that makes me question the things that I do, and that's what it's all about, is my life story and my life experiences that make me see the things I do. We're all built like that, but not very many people have had the life I have. So I was actually detained by President Bush's Secret Service at one time. And it's a funny story, kind of. At the time I worked for Airborne Express. If anybody who does not know who Airborne Express is, they used to be, they're now out of business, but they used to be a UPS and FedEx company. And that's exactly what we did. And my route was Toledo Express Airport, and the 180th Fighter Wing were part of my route. And when I talk about my life story, there's going to be a couple of stories that I'm going to talk about that. And it actually, again, there goes an eagle. I don't know if it'll come across and end up in the video behind me or not. There's an eagle soaring overhead. Nope, just dip behind the trees. Again, there's a couple things stories I'm going to share with that job, and specifically with the airport and the 180th Fighter Wing itself, and some other things that I learned in that job. So, when Bush came to town, and especially back then, I was young, we're talking early 2000s, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was the early 2000s. It was after I lost my job as a steel worker after 9/11, when the steel industry went down the tubes. So it was early 2000s, I'd have to sit down and really figure out the exact year, but I had deliveries that had to be made by 10:30 in the morning. I back then did not keep up with politics, watch the news. I didn't turn on a TV. All I did was work, play sports, and just run. I was on run. Motorcycles, 8,000 miles a year on average. I'm out in the world living. So I didn't know Bush was in town that day. And they had the airport shut down because he was. Well, I have deliveries I have to get done by a specific time. And I'm not going to pull up the maps because I'm struggling with my internet service. My last video now just took me 4 days to upload. 4 full days. Now, after going back and watching my video, it actually duplicated recording it. I just lose service, stop working. It'd start over again. 4G, 5 bars, 5G, 5 bars, nothing would work. It doesn't matter. And it's not just me here, it's everybody in the area. Our whole entire area suffers from this. And then AT&T can't get it right, and that's all we have. Yet another story coming because I can't believe what I just went through with them yesterday. Back to my story. So, I had deliveries that have to get done, and if I don't get my deliveries done on time, I get in trouble, the company gets in trouble, we get hits. So I'm going, what do I do? What do I do? I'm circling around the airport, making just a lap around, going, is there anywhere I can get in, anybody I can talk to? You know, I pulled in my main normal entrance, and there's just guards at the gate saying, can't be here well until the president leaves. Okay. So on airport property grounds, there's a lot of small businesses. And I had a couple of those small businesses I had to get to and get done before 10:30 that are not inside the airport, but on airport grounds. And as I circle around, I see there's an entrance open with no guards. Service road's open, I'm going in. I'm going to get my deliveries done. First door I walk up, knock on the door, and the door's shut and locked, and you couldn't even open the door, which is not normal. And they came to the door with Cessna Aviation, and they came to the door and said, "What are you doing out here?" Got your mail, I have your deliveries. And they're like, "You can't be out here. How'd you even get in here? We're not even allowed to have our door open. We're not allowed to be on our windows. They have us on lockdown." Well, there's nobody at the entrance over here, so I came in and I'm just doing my job. I want to get my job done. They said, "Well, you might want to turn around." And I turned around and noticed my truck was surrounded by men in suits. And they were approaching me. "What are you doing here?" "Just trying to do my job, that's it. Just, how'd you get in here? There's nobody over at that entrance." And I just drove in and pulled in and did my job. Apparently they don't like humor. They don't have a sense of humor. At least back then they didn't. And it's understandable now. I totally get it now. And especially after seeing what happened to Trump and the whole circus and charade that our government is today, I understand more than ever the absolute necessity for obedience and discipline. That is how you protect people. You don't protect people by playing games and hiding behind them. I get it now. So he said, okay. They scanned my truck, went underneath, did the mirrors underneath, and looked inside. "You need to get in your truck and go." I said, "Sir, I have one more stop that has to be done by 10:30. Hertz Rent-A-Car right there. Please let me go get my stop done." "Sir, come with us." That was all it took. No sense of humor whatsoever. That wasn't even funny. That was just, I just want to do my job. "Can you follow me over there even and let me just deliver one envelope and be done so I can have my job done on time and not get in trouble?" I push things a little bit like that in good sense. But they didn't like that, so they detained me and took me into custody. Took my truck. Actually ran x-rays through it, ran all my packages through x-rays, and did the full 9 on me. But while I was detained, and me being the personable guy I am, it's part of why I have so many life stories to tell, because of the guy I am. And I just open up and talk to people. I make people laugh. I make people feel good. I don't know why people try to hurt me so much when that's the person that I am. But this is also how I learned so much and have gotten into so much. They actually took me out back and showed me Air Force One and showed me the plane they bring his entourage in. And I'll tell you what, oh my God, that bird is huge. They told me at Toledo Express Airport they have to put up nets to catch that plane because the runways aren't even long enough for it to land on. And what I got to learn and stuff I've got to learn about that airport and how dangerous that airport actually is, it's really scary. I can't believe that something as a safety, and I mean, granted, you know, fortunately there's only been a few incidences, but at the same time, why is these people making millions and millions and having so much money but not doing the things that they need to do to protect the people? It's part of why I'm here. I want to protect the people. I want people to want to be protected again. So anyways, I'm with the entourage of President Bush there, and while I was detained and sitting in the office with them, a call came in. The call was that there was a roofing company roofing a house on a roof roughly 1 mile from the airport. And they dispatched Secret Service to go take them and get them off the roof. And they were not allowed on that roof and allowed to do their job till the president had left the airport. And his plane was in the sky and gone. And they got authorization to go back to work. They shut down that crew for a day, 1 mile away. So how, 150 yards away, was somebody allowed to carry a ladder, an AR-15, and a drone, and all this equipment while the whole entire thing was taking progress 150 yards away, and nobody knew anything about it? This is part of why I'm here. Part of why I talk so much about we need to start being adults again. And now the rain's kicking back in. Another day of rain. This is part of why I'm here to talk, because I've had enough of it. This is all the most important, serious things in the world that I'm here to talk about, and yet it's all treated like such a circus. And people now, adults, are no longer adults. You know, I just said it in my last video, I think it was. The Boston Tea Party took place over pennies in taxes, but look at what we take as American people today. Stop and think about that. Yeah, right. He agrees. That's a whole lot of that right there. So how was that guy able to do that today? And today when, I mean, we're talking what? Back in the early 20 years ago, you weren't allowed on a roof a mile away from the airport. And the reason that entrance was open that I drove into to begin with, which I found out while I was detained, was actually because, and anybody can pull up the aerial view of Toledo Express Airport. Eber Road Bridge, look at it. It's actually fascinating, and I'll tell you a fascinating story real quick, and I'm done with this. There was people lined up on the Eber Road Bridge to watch the plane fly out. And they went and kicked the people off the bridge. That's why that post was open, which doesn't make any sense. They already had other people who could have gone in, but they left the post open and opened a post. Again, that's still, I mean, who made that call? I was able to drive in. I have a lot of, actually, several with that job, and with after 9/11, a lot of safety things that I would like to share in other videos. But they kicked those people off that bridge, and that's why that post was open and I was able to drive in, was because you weren't even allowed on that bridge to sit and watch, and that's still a good rough mile from the actual airport itself. Now, what I will tell you is fascinating, on the other side of, directly opposite of Toledo Express Airport across Eber Road, is the 180th Fighter Wing. If you sit on the Eber Road Bridge when the 180th Fighter Wing comes in, since they are jet engines and the jets go out the back, you can't hear them coming until they're right on top of you. And when you cross over that bridge, I mean, I swear, I don't know exactly, but I swear when you're done pooping your pants and look up, you think it looks like you could throw a ball and hit the bird in the sky going over there so low. And when you get the blast from that jet as it passes you, it just rumbles your whole car. One time in my entire life did I ever get to experience that. And I'll tell you what, I about needed to change my pants after that. It's a fascinating experience. So this is a different aspect of politics that I wanted to talk about. If 20 years ago we were able to detect and had the technology to detect alone in itself people on a roof a mile away, how can somebody during an event in progress carry a ladder, gun, all this equipment 150 yards away and get a shot off? I swear I can't help but to believe, like politics today just seems like a giant sci-fi movie show. It doesn't make any sense. And again, it's part of why I'm here to talk about discipline, because we need discipline back again. Stop acting like a bunch of kids. I've already said this once. One of my biggest problems with Kamala being our vice president is all you ever see is a big smile and laugh on her face. Being the president and vice president is not fun. It's nothing to laugh at. It's the most serious jobs in the world. It's not a game. And my dog's getting sick over there in the grass right now. Yay. You alright, bubbies? There it goes. Sorry about that, folks. This world around me just happens. That's life. You alright, buddy? So, how does that happen? How have we become so undisciplined that stuff like that can happen? How is it that our world and change is so good and progress is so great, but yet we have more people today being treated for mental health illnesses than ever before in history? More drugs are being administered today than ever before in history because the world is so much better? I don't know what more to add to this, really. I really don't, but I did want to share that. Again, 20 years ago, we could detect people on a roof a mile away and make them get off of it. Today's age, 150 yards, and we still can't handle that.